afternoon all. I'm Dharmendra Sharma. I run a company called Mamleshwar Clean Fuel Private Limited. We are not that kind of a technology company the earlier presented by my colleague. We are a very simple company operated from a village, and we are a company which collect crop residue from the farmers' fields and convert that crop residue into an industrial fuel. So I'll take you through that journey with my presentation. Uh, yeah, so this is where our journey started. This is crop residue. This is just a crop waste. After the farmer harvested their crop, grains have been separated from the stubble. This is what left out. So farmer has choice that because he has to sow the next crop, so he has a choice that he manage this crop waste or he burns this out. So that is how the problem of burning crop residue started, and very specifically in and around of Delhi NCR, a lot of smoke generated during winter season because of parali burn. So there we come into the picture. We collect that waste, and this is the crop burning which is happening currently right now. Because that harvesting is already started and burning is already started. We have been seeing a lot of incident of burning in and around Haryana and Punjab because there are the biomass surplus availability is there abundance. So this is the scene is created in Delhi NCR during winter season. The entire that smoke converted into this dense formation, and this is kind of a health hazard for the people living in and around Delhi. So from that perspective, it's a situation of a global burning, like not more a warming, it is burning because we have been increasing the temperature of our mother nature on a each day. So, how the process started? This is how the farmer bring their crop residue to our plant in their trolleys, in their tractors, and we collect that crop residue. We process that crop residue. We segregated that crop residue. We further grind it as per our feedstock. This is the process wherein raw material is collected, the screening is happening, and then the drying process is also there because a lot of mix of products comes into, because we not only collect one kind of a crop residue, any crop residue which has a kind of a GCV, gross calorific value, up to 2500 to 3000 GCV per 1000 kilocal. We collect that. So we are not separating that out. We are just collecting into our facility. We are processing it out and converting a product called briquette. Briquette is just a cylindrical format of that crop residue converted into a densified format. We have not added any binder into it. We have It is a process of densification. This crop has residue has a element called lignin. Sir, can you please? Sir, thank you. This crop has a element called lignin. So while in this process, when we are converting this crop residue into a industrial fuel, there's an element called generated is called lignin. So that works as a binder into a crop, and that eventually increase the GCB value of our fuel, because this is nothing but a crop waste, it is not a fuel. So during that process, because our machine produce some 400 to 500 degree of a temperature, while it is densified in the mechanical process, it generated lignin, and lignin works as a the densification, and the process in out we get this kind of a fuel. So this bigger diameter called the briquette, and the smaller called the pellets. So briquettes and pellets are the fuel, and this largely from the agro waste only. It. We are not generating as if now our feedstock. It is just a waste from the farmer, and we are collecting it out. So this is how it looked like. So you take out any crop waste, it has some kind of calorific value, and depending upon the economic viability of that crop, we are converting that into a fuel. So if the industry needs a higher kilocalorific fuel, we are converting a sawdust or a groundnut waste as a feedstock, and then we are making the pellets and briquette out of it. Otherwise, large of our feedstock is paddy straw and the mustard stock. And this is the right hand corner. There are some grasses also. It is yet to introduce in India that we can also create our feedstock by cultivating the energy crops. This is Napier grass. A lot of experiment is on, but yet have commercial production into it. So this is the economic feasibility of our fuel. If you compare, like, any fuel which is going to the market has to be economically feasible for the for their client. So if you see the briquette and pellet, it has roughly a kilocal of 3,500 to 3,700 kilocal. If you compare with the Indian grade coal, which is around 4,500 GCV, and furnace oil 10,000, and LPG and CNG around 8,000. So I have compared the coal rate, which was earlier, like, it went up to 14 rupees a kg also last year. However, this season prices are very down, and that is the main challenge which we are facing, that our fuel is compared to the coal, it is getting expensive to the people, our client. So if you compare in terms of environmental aspect, our fuel is quite good in terms of it has lesser ash content. Coal has 20 to 30% of ash content. Our fuel has 10% of ash content. It has lesser moisture in it. It has lesser SOx and NOx gases compared to coal, particularly coal. Particularly coal. See, now the demand side of this particular fuel, Government of India has mandated all the power plants that whosoever is generating power through the coal, the fossil fuel, they have to blend the non-fossil fuel in 5% of their blending. So that is the main demand. It is coming from our fuel side. And if you compare that demand and that what kind of see, these are the figure, the total cropped area and the crop production and biomass generation. Total surplus of biomass is around 22 crores metric tons in India. And total power generation is around 209 gigawatt. So if we calculate that need of a 5% of blending of biomass as a fuel into coal, the requirement, per day requirement for only for the power generation would be around 1 lakh metric ton on a daily basis. And this is a very, very huge gap. Our industry is not ready to match up this kind of a gap. We are hardly producing around 15 to 20,000 metric tons on a daily basis. We are not that scale up now, but in gradually and slowly and gradually we are creating our capacity to match up this kind of a demand. Then we have a private side demand also. This is from government side. The private side also, all the industries which are operating in Delhi NCR region, and all the industries which are MNCs, which they have a mandate from SSG, they also have to give away with the use of fossil fuel. So their boiler is completely working upon on our fuel. Like, if I give you few example of MNC's company, like PepsiCo, Coke, Hindustan Unilever Limited, their boiler are 100% working on our fuel. They are not using a kg of coal in any of their plant across India, because they have been mandated to for net zero target by 2032, 2035. Everyone has respective targets. So wherever it is possible to find the alternative, they are finding, and they are even replacing their manufacturing facility near to the suitable fuel supply arrangements. So uh, so demand is huge, and this, but the only challenge is that this particular sector is not organized in that way that the coal industry is like. We are very nascent, we are learning, we are creating capacity to supply this kind of a huge demand. And we have a social side of also onto this business, and the social and environmental side, because this particular business is operating right there on the village level. If somebody put in, because all other businesses are largely into concentrated in the industrial zone, but this particular business has to have on the village level, because my catchment area, the feedstock will come from the very near field only. So in a way, I am creating a kind of a entrepreneur model. The people are collecting their crop residue and they are reselling their crop residue to my plant. Farmers are directly getting benefit. They selling their crop residue to my plant. I have a record of farmers wherein they have increased their income by 5,000 rupee per acre, because I've been buying their crop residue twice in a year, each and every season. Earlier, they had to spend their crop, their money to burn that out. Now they are getting they are getting money out of it. So their income has been increased. They are getting employment. The soil fertility, when farmer burns this crop residue on the field itself, the topsoil get burned. So yeah, if you understand the soil technicality, the topsoil has the organic carbons which actually create the nutrition in our food. So that is also we are saving, because earlier otherwise farmer will burn the crop. Now it is getting into our plant, and reduce the air pollution. It is obviously it is not burning. Now the question arises that ultimately your fuel is getting burned inside the boiler. So how it is not creating the carbon emission? So the to answer to that is that the a cycle of a crop is like the entire period of a crop. They absorb a lot of carbon during their the growth, and the same carbon has been burnt inside the facility, like wherein carbon emission norms are there. So that kind of carbon is not there. If you compare with the coal, because coal, you are unearthing the carbon which is buried inside the earth core, and then burning it out and emitting that carbon into the environment. So in that aspect, we are carbon neutral fuel, and we are serving the nation in that aspect. And this is our company. We have 5 companies across India. Mamleshwar Agro Fuel, it is in Indore, and Mamleshwar Biofuel, Mamleshwar Green Fuel, and my plant is in Sirsa, wherein we have a capacity of 100 metric tons a day. We are producing briquettes and pellet both, and large feedstock is mustard and parali. Thank you. If you have any question, I can take it up. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Which data? The S is rice. 20% is in rice. No, see, if you compare mustard has a 10%. Rice straw is 20%, 22. Yeah, it is very much economical. Now the power plant has mandated that they will be using only when you are using the rice straw as a feedstock into your fuel. Okay. They have, it is clearly mandated in all tenders that 50% of the parali has to have when you are making the briquettes or pellet out of your agro waste.
But the ash content has no issue to them?
No issue. Like if you blend in 50%, 50-50, then it comes around 12 to 13%. That's not an issue with them. Because coal has higher, 25 to 30% coal as content. So it compared to coal, it is has a lesser as content.
Yeah, but the ash type is different, it is more silica, so disposal is,
Sir,
maybe they have
but
to think in a different way.
sir, blending. See, if the 5% blending. When I'll take an example of a power plant who is burning 12,000 metric ton in a day, and my fuel is just going 200 tons or 300 tons. Is hardly matter for as a quantity there in
Yeah,
burning.
today probably, but maybe if it goes,
I
the
I
content increases, it is maybe issue.
I think I'll just intervene to your question. There are a lot of power plants in Punjab which use the paddy husk as a fuel. Now, I had a very detailed discussion and evaluation of a project of a farmer, rich farmer, big farm. He said, "Ki I burn the rice husk, paddy husk, as fuel, and the ash that I generate is a very good fertilizer, and they use it." So the point that you are saying it has a higher degree of silica, I don't know how was or for which crop he was saying, but he was selling it, and this ash was being sold in Punjab as a supplement to fertilizer.
Yeah, that is good.
That
See, if purely through silica based, like, as you rightly said about the parali, after burning completely, like if it is in half burn situation, then it can, intensify as a carbon into a soil. But it is not the case actually. So it is largely going into a dump yards only, the S coming
Yeah,
out
but
of.
it can be disposed, there is no issue in disposal even to earth, like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was mentioning.
yeah,
there is
yeah,
no
yeah.
issue. Overall, it is not a kind
Yeah,
of
it is not
problem.
harmful. It is
not
not harmful for the soil if you are even mulching it into the soil.
Okay,
Thank you.
Are you producing biochar?
Sir, biochar, is a greater degree of our process wherein if we need to put up a reactor for biochar and a lot of complexity because biochar technology currently not in India, proven is not there, and there the most of the thing is the market is not available. So we are not currently producing the biochar. No certification is there, no market is there. Though in terms of net zero target, carbon biochar has come up on a number one in that index, but still we are lacking because the certification has to come from the European Union because unless you adopt that process, you will not get the carbon credit. Biochar is for carbon credit. It is not directly application into a soil. However, application into soil is a very good result. People are doing it, but the prime focus is to get the carbon credit from the biochar, and that is not the case with our fuel. Our fuel, the carbon credit is generally taken by the user. We are not taking those carbon credit, and that journey and mapping is also a problem in our fuel because so that is from the biochar side.
yeah, is there? Please.
Yeah, please. Panipat.
what is the status if there is a competition for you, or are they getting, because they are not getting parali for what I understand for them.
So I'll tell you, as I said that 22 crore metric ton biomass surplus is available in India. The problem is finding that and their place, because the gap between the management is very, very low. Like farmer today is doing the harvesting and within 30 days or 35 days he has to sow the next crop. So even you put the entire infrastructure of the country from that
mobilize.
pole, mobilize, it is not feasible. So now the status of that IOCL Panipat, it is to 1 lakh metric ton facility. However, they got around 30, 40,000 metric ton only. The problem again comes in that you don't have that kind of logistic and infrastructure available to manage that entire biomass in 35 or 40 days time of a span. So that is the and then economic viability of that. If you move entire resources into that, your cost goes up, because dependency comes into the so supply chain is a very, very critical side of this business, that where you are operating, how you are operating, what is your capacity, what is your size, what is your scale. If you are not calculated that, then this business is a very, very risky proposition, because like in our earlier, we were not seeing any competition earlier. Now this gentleman is saying that they want it for SAF. They are saying that we need it for ethanol. Some people are needed for methanol. So I am the lowest in the rank, and I am much worried that my feedstock is going away. How I will survive in this competitive environment? Good afternoon, sir.
You can, I'm sorry, you can give that feedstock to them. You can
That
make
is-
the bouquet to them, that is also
Yeah.
business.
That is we are planning. Colonel Rohit Dev have come. He is our industry leader in this field. He was the CEO of the pioneer company called Prespel, and so he has a lot of insight on this particular subject, sir. Sir, he's asking about the competition of biomass into other fields. So, what is your thought about it, sir?
Parali,
Parali.
$1 million question.
Yeah.
Dr. knows us very well, so समय going through की थी साल पहले तो उस टाइम
उसको लेके जाते थे, एक बॉल के अंदर बोलते थे ले लीजिए प्लीज़,
हाँ।
एंड लोग बोलते थे ये क्यों लेंगे, कोल मिल रहा है, ये मिल रहा है, वो मिल रहा है. अभी टाइम आ गया कि लोग खोज रहे हैं कि कहाँ मिलता है, एंड 10-12 साल ज़्यादा नहीं लगेंगे. There will be a problem. There will be a market competitiveness in this field. And why I say it is, we have time, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So 3 broad segments where biomass is going already and will go in future. First stream is your boiler industry. तो मोटा मोटा MNRE का ले लेते हैं, 250 मिलियन मेट्रिक टन बायोमास है हमारे पास. तो 30,000 या 25,000 10 TPH के बॉयलर में डालेंगे तो ख़त्म हो जाएगा, राइट. फिर कोई और इंडस्ट्री बोलती है कि नहीं नहीं ये तो सिर्फ मैपिंग MNRE ने यहाँ की है, बाकी साउथ इंडिया यहाँ वहाँ पे और भी फीड स्टॉक्स हैं बियॉन्ड दीज 11 फीड स्टॉक्स हैव बीन मैप्ड. Yes, you are right. So even if it's 3 times, it only takes you to about 1 lakh factories to burn that. The second stream is the biofuel stream, what you are discussing. So from CBG to E2G to your SAF pathway, and many other fuels are being made, and there also requirement is there. And the third is the most interesting, which is not coming in our radar, is anything, right? So people are making shoes from biomass, furniture, particle board, crockery, cutlery, stationery, bottles, everything, bags. You can make anything from biomass. So why I say this is under the radar, because ICAR and Ministry of Agriculture had a program 3 years back, and I was a mentor to 3 entrepreneurs. And one of them called me after a long time, and must have got the number from somewhere, because that was a software portion. And he was very happy because he was sending the first container of, his container of beverage straws to Dubai. And 1 shipping container, and I asked him how much money I'm going to make. So he says, sir, all capex, all apex, opex, all profit, everything done, still I've got money to invest in the new plant. So 1 container.
Wow.
So that is where it is going. So I think it is a competitive market, and rates will vary. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं ना benchmark कर दो, ये कर दो, like NTPC benchmark the pellet. Why should I give you a 2.32 when I'm getting in Civil Street for the same pellet to 2.8? So there is a competition. So either you set realistic goals, or somebody else will take that biomass.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think all the 3 gentlemen who luminaries on the Parali need to approach their Anil ji, चिट्ठी लिखिए दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री को कि Parali is his headache, and here are 3 gentlemen who are creating a competitive market for Parali. Who will take it and at what price?
Yeah.
So that solves his problem and generates money also. What can be a bigger, better proposal?
The problem is not Chief Minister of Delhi. The problem is there are many ministries driving the same biomass into various places. right? So he was also driving the 2 years back in situ, suddenly realized in situ can't solve it.
So with this, I think we come to a come on a happy note that parali is something which is not bad, which is a very good thing, is competitive and a base material for the future, present and future. Kya, sir? I think that's where we are. And the aviation, of course, aviation fuel is the future when it becomes what you call as the commercially viable on a commercial scale. Right now it is there, but we have to look at, he is competing for parali, he is competing for parali, you are competing for parali. The parali is a limited quantity. So there, in which direction and to what extent we go, we are able to go. And as you pointed out, the problem of logistics, the storage, the quick period in which it is to be moved out, that, and even if it is moved, firstly, there is a logistics, how to move it, then even if you are moved, where to store it. Because once rain, it gets spoiled. And the availability of parali and rain are just in succession. If the uncertainty and unpredictability does not increase anymore.
Right.
June onwards, it is a rain. And the maximum parali you get is May and June, April end to mid-June. So that's all. I think, gentlemen, yeah, there's a good future for biofuel, and for me also it has been a good education that parali is becoming so important that now there is competition for parali.
Yeah, very much.